right, so here is this beautiful loaf. Just to show that it does work, to take it right out of the fridge after a couple of weeks to make. We have cut into this and had a couple pieces. That chocolate in there just oozing out is so delicious. Okay, please do this. Make this same thing right away. Enjoy. I've been gone for about 2 weeks. This has been in the fridge. See how there's a little liquid on the top? I'm gonna pour that out, and I'm gonna make some bread straight from this without doing a discard and refeeding it. Poured all that off just into the sink. Now I'm gonna pour everything into this bowl minus a half. It's not light and bubbly because it's just been in the fridge. So it's hungry, thirsty and hungry, mostly hungry for food, and it's heavier. And this is what we would call, or you would hear called the discard. So you'd use it like in pancakes or throw it in muffins, but I'm going to make bread out of it. And the reason why it works is because I have enough time in the bulk fermentation to help this be fed and become bubbly within the bread itself. All right, so that's what I'm doing next. And you'll see it half up in here, which I will feed with a cup of flour and half a cup of water. And then this will become fed and activate 2 loaves in one batch because 1 cup is enough for 2 loaves. So I'm going to do 1 artisan loaf and 1 focaccia chocolate loaf. So, but this whole part will be just the same. So I just added 4 cups of flour and 4 cups of water, just scant. I'm gonna mix this up, then add the salt, and then add the rest of the flour, which is 4 more cups. Add 4 teaspoons of salt. When I make the chocolate focaccia bread from this, I will show you how to add the add-ins after everything's developed. But basically, the artisan loaf and the focaccia loaf is made the same way all the way up until we shape it. 4 teaspoons of salt. Now there's the rest of the flour, 4 cups of flour. I'm going to stir this together and then cover with the towel and let it rest for 30 minutes, and I'll start my stretch. The dough will look like it's a shaggy dough. So we're gonna just let this sit for and rest for, it's 30 to 60 minutes. I'll probably come back in 30 and stretch and fold. So cover it with a wet towel. We'll be back. We're gonna stretch it and fold. Then do the next corner, stretch, fold. Shake it a little bit to get that stretch in there. And one last time. Okay, and then just take that wet rag, cover it again, and let it rest for half an hour to an hour. With one hand, so I could just do this with one hand, but I'm gonna stretch and fold the second time. So 2 hands in there kind of helps, but 1. 2. Sorry if this makes you dizzy. 3, and I'm just getting every corner here. 4, nice. Okay, just cover that and again with the towel. Now I'm gonna let this raise all night long. All right, this is how well that dough did overnight. Isn't that incredible? That's what they call the discard. But because I let it raise for this long, it did its magic. So what we're gonna do is, this is a double recipe. So I'm gonna pull this whole thing out, and with half of it, I'm gonna take the scraper that I love for cutting the dough. It's great for cutting when you do a double recipe. It's also great for cinnamon rolls and great for scraping the counter off. So I'm just gonna cut this in half, and the first one I'm gonna roll up and make into an artisan loaf. So you're gonna just, this is my favorite way to shape the dough. I roll it up like a Tootsie Roll one way, and then the next way. And then just take this and roll that bottom seam really well until we're kind of smooth on the top. I'll roll it a couple more times. the center of the parchment paper, and then in a bowl, it's about this shape that you want it to rise up to help it not rise out. And then you can either literally in 1 hour cook this, just leave this out on the counter and preheat your oven. Or what I'm gonna do today, because this other thing I'm gonna be cooking, the focaccia bread, needs to raise for like 4 or 5 hours. So I'm going to just put this in the fridge. If you do that, you can put this in the fridge and you can wait hours and hours before you cook it. It will ferment more, and so it'll have a more sour taste. And I just like to cook them at the same time, not literally at the same time, but I'm gonna cook them back to back once I'm heating up my oven. All right, for this, because I'm doing add-ins, I'm gonna add in the chocolate. I'm going to spread this dough out, almost like you can think of it as doing like cinnamon rolls, but we're not gonna roll it out because the dough is much too sticky. So you just take the edges and pull this out on your counter. You feel where it's thick and kind of pull it out. All right, that's perfect. All right, so now we're gonna sprinkle the cocoa, and I did 3 tablespoons of cocoa. This is cocoa powder, not hot chocolate. I had someone in one of my classes ask me, can I use hot chocolate? No, that's got all kinds of other stuff in it, including sugar and milk, dried milk. So that's the cocoa, and then 1/2 cup of sugar. You can do less if you don't want it as sweet, but you do need some sugar because that cocoa will be bitter without the sugar. And then we're gonna do about 1.5 cups of chocolate chips. Oh yeah, okay. All right, right in there. All right, and then you're gonna just roll this up, just like we did the other, like a Tootsie Roll, but now it's, since it's elongated, it's just a little bit thinner as you roll it, so you can't go quite as fast. I roll it to about there, and then I pull this side over. And the same thing, we're gonna roll it this other direction, but much looser because I don't want to break through too much. It will a little bit. See a little hole popping through, but really that just creates some caramelization where it comes through. Okay, it's ready now to transfer onto the parchment paper. Yeah. Okay, so we're gonna put about 3 tablespoons in total of, usually I use olive oil, but when it's something sweet like this, I don't really want that flavor. I do avocado oil. So start by pouring a couple tablespoons right there and spread it around. And then gently just plop this on to there. And we're gonna pour just a little bit on top as well. Beautiful. I just make sure that the oil comes out to where it's gonna raise so it doesn't stick. And this helps the texture for what we want for focaccia bread. All right, we're gonna just cover this with plastic. And then this raise takes 3 to 6 hours. We just want that to kind of fill out the space. And so we're gonna let it do its magic right now. And then I'll show you what you do next for the focaccia bread. I love the scraper for so many things, but this has to be my favorite because this starts to dry on your countertop and it is such a pain to clean. But when you use the scraper, you just get this wonderful little pile of that really dry dough that can kind of become like cement even. And then it's easy to wipe down. Amazing. It's been about 5 hours. Look how beautifully this has raised. All right, now I'm going to show you what you do next. and we will get things cooking in the oven. So it has raised beautifully. Just taking that oil that's kind of on the sides and putting it on the top, because I'm going to just sprinkle a tiny bit of sugar and cocoa powder on the top. Just make it a little bit prettier. And also I want some of this oil on the top for the next part so my fingers won't stick too much. So just go ahead and sprinkle this on. That was about 2 teaspoons of each. That will caramelize a little bit. Okay, and then this is the fun part. See if you can find a camera angle that helps you see this. You're just gonna push those holes in. Isn't that crazy? Okay, take a little more of this oil on the top where it's kind of dry. This is now going to go in the oven at 425 for 25 minutes. And then we'll cook the other loaf, the artisan loaf. Okay, it's beautiful. Here it's sizzling. Just pull this out of the oven. It looks magnificent. I'm gonna let this cool a bit and then I'll cut into it so you can see. Those chocolate chips will have melted in there, and you'll have the swirl of the chocolate and the sugar in there as well. And now I'm upping the oven to 475 to cook the artisan loaf that's been in the fridge. Let's pull it out and see how it looks. Exactly how I want it to look. And I'll go ahead and score this when the oven preheats all the way and throw it in the oven at 475 for 30 minutes with the lid on, and then 20 more minutes with the lid off. And this is all from that sourdough starter that had been in my fridge for 2 weeks. And I didn't have to take some out, throw it away, or discard it and feed it. I could take it straight from the fridge and make both of these breads. Doing a double batch. Pretty fun, huh, guys? So we're gonna go ahead and score it. This used to be my go-to. I haven't done it this way in a long time, but I thought it'd be fun. I just do one straight across like this, and then make sure it's deep enough, and then just do a little decorative. Little decoration right here. Just a few little fun lines. Okay, then we're gonna put this straight into this. And into the oven with the lid on, 475. This is gonna cook for 30 minutes with the lid on, then we'll take it off for 20 more minutes. And you'll see how that looks. Living hack. Please look at that. Please, please, just take a look. Oh my gosh. See the big holes in the bread? Really nice open crumb. And then this ooey gooey chocolate. Yeah. I think that works. Still a little bit warm. Oh my gosh. That was so good. You guys are gonna wanna make this really soon. Yes, I do put corn in my taco soup. We usually do this with sandwich bread. It's hot, so be careful. Oh. I'm gonna let it cool down a little bit. I'll come right back. The texture of the bread, all that good stuff. Is this your favorite now? Yeah, baby. Okay, you guys, you've got to try this. Took the lid off, and now it has, wow, it looks beautiful. Now it has 20 more minutes, same temperature with the lid off. We'll see it in just a second. Look how beautiful. Okay, I'm gonna put it on the cooling rack so you can see how high it got and how it looks on. So here is this beautiful loaf, just to show that it does work, to take it right out of the fridge after a couple of weeks to make. We have cut into this and had a couple pieces. Chocolate in there, just oozing out, is so delicious. Okay, please do this. Make the same thing right away. Enjoy.